What's up everybody, Retro Gamer Gen X back with another modding video, and in today's modding video we're going to be modding this, a PlayStation 1, and specifically this is the 5501 model of the PlayStation 1 with the PU-18 motherboard. And what we're going to be modding this with is the PlayStation Xstation. Now what this is basically a disk drive emulator or an optical drive emulator. And what this does, it has a SD card on here, or you can put an SD card in it, and you can basically load this up with all your ISOs for all your favorite PlayStation 1 games. And once you boot it up, it'll show you a list of all the ISOs that you have on there, all the games you have, and you can just select which one you want to play and it'll go ahead and play it for you. So this is a really good option for people that have like a faulty laser unit in their PlayStations, or say if you just didn't want to collect all the games and you want to download the ISOs and put them on here, that's another option for you. Now I do want to say this, I warn you guys that this is a very difficult mod to perform. You have to lift the legs on the DSP chip, which is almost microscopic, so it's a really hard mod to do. So if you're a beginner at soldering, or if you have no surface mount soldering skills, or you've never done surface mount soldering, this is probably not the mod for you to perform. And a lot of the places that you can buy the Xstation from do offer the installation service if you send your PlayStation into them. So just another option for you guys if you wanted to do this mod and you're kind of scared of doing it. But without further ado guys, let's go ahead and head over to the workbench and let's go ahead and get started here. Alright guys, so we've got the PlayStation here. So these are pretty easy to take apart. I've already taken the liberty of taking some of the screws out and stuff because I wanted to make sure the motherboard was at PU-18. So you got 6 screws you just take out. They're just the Phillips screws here. You guys can see that. Just take those out. And then the top cover just basically lifts off like that. And after that you got the laser unit and all the stuff you got to detach. So just kind of gently maneuver these out of their positions. Kind of like so. This just lifts off. And there's the laser unit. Then you have these other, this is the power board cable, or the power supply cable, and controller and memory card cable. And once you get those off there, then you have 4 more screws. 1, 2, 3, or I think it's 3 and 4 or something like that. There's 4 of these gold screws here that you'll remove. And then this plate can come off. I don't know if it's an RF shield or a plate or whatnot. Now it's kind of hard to get off because it's kind of set in there, but you just kind of lift it from the back and then it'll kind of pop right off, sort of, kind of. You gotta jiggle it just a little bit. There it goes. Alright. And so that's off. And as you guys can clearly see here, once we lift this up, this is a PU-18. It says PU and then 18 there. So this is that DSP chip that we'll be having to lift the pins on. And then we're going to have to get this completely out of the case here so we can get to the back side. So we can solder this little board on to the back, and you guys will see that here in a little bit. This is the QSB board. So let me go ahead and take care of this real quick. Now the board will just pop right on out. Alright guys, so we got the board completely out. There we go. So we're going to be working here, and then if we flip the board over, this board here We'll be going somewhere up in here. I forget exactly where. I'm going to have to look on the self-help guide. By the way, I'm going to be posting the links to self-help guides down there. It's at GitHub. This is where you get the software for it and everything else too. So that way if you guys get this, you'll know how to do this like completely. So let me go ahead and check out the guide real quick, and I will be back and we'll start doing this. I think I'm going to go ahead and knock out the difficult part first, guys, and try to get the pins lifted off this chip, because I don't want to waste my time putting this on if this gets messed up. So, but this is not my PlayStation. This is a buddy of mine, Mikey's, and he kind of just told me, hey, if you mess it up, you know, that's okay, I got another one, but let's see if we can get it done. So we're gonna try this. This is the first time I've done this mod, guys. The little pick chip mod, you know, where you can play the burned discs in a PlayStation 1. I've done probably 100 of those. But this is the first time I've done this. So we'll see how it goes, guys. I finally found my soldering station, and I do have a pretty decent soldering iron now. And yeah, as you guys can see, it's got a little tiny tip on there, and we're gonna have to like basically heat up each pad individually and then use one of these picks to try to pick that up. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, guys. So let me go ahead and zoom you guys in and get the soldering iron started, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, so now that I got everything kind of magnified in, guys, I'm sorry about the shake. It's so magnified that I got this like shake on my table. So but these are the pins that we have to essentially lift up right here, are these ones here. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So let's go ahead and get this started. So I'm going to put a little bit of flux down. Now this is the absolute wrong kind of flux to use on this, but it's the only kind I have. I have the paste. So we're going to have to definitely clean this up after we're done. Alright, now that that's done, guys, now pin 80 would be the first one we got to lift up. So let's get a little heat on that pin and see how this works. Alright guys, so there's the first one, and yeah, you have to apply a little more pressure than I thought you would have to. Interesting. You know, add a little bit more heat to my soldering iron here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just continue on throughout all the pins. Alright guys, so it looks like we've got that done here. Now that did take me a little bit of time, and that was a pain in the ass. I did end up burning a pad off right here. Not a pad that we needed anyway, but yeah, until pin 80 was easy because it was on one on the end, but then my tool that I was using, this pick here, either that end or this end, was just a little too fat to get in between those pins. So I ended up having to use a knife here, the edge of a knife, and getting underneath them and popping them up. And once I did that, everything else started looking pretty dang good there. So yeah, just make sure that you have something that's really thin to get in between those pins, guys. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. Good thing we're never going to have to use that pad that I burned off there ever again, but yeah, that's the way that works. But anyway, looks like everything's good, nothing's shorted out. I did go ahead and basically reseat or resolder all these down just to make sure everything was still soldered down, and had to take care of a few little solder blobs that wouldn't go away, but now everything's looking pretty dang good here. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and install this QSB board, or quick solder board. Now I'm going to zoom in, but I just kind of want to show you kind of where the placement is. So we're looking at like right here. So there's a big solder pad right here that you want to line up with that, and then pretty much everything else lines up. So it's kind of nice. Now before we solder this on, there is some prep work. So there is a via right here and a via right here that we have to scrape the solder mask off of. So let me go ahead and zoom in, and we'll go ahead and start that. Alright guys, so we're going to check out how to do this solder mask thing. So we're just going to scrape this off real quick. Nothing too major here. So now the one via we need to scrape off, let's put this back on real quick just to make sure. It's this one right here. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Let me try with a knife here. Alright guys, and then there's another one here that we want to go ahead and do too. Let me get it in camera. If I can ever find it. There we go, right here. You really just want to do it until the copper's exposed like that, guys, and should be good to go. So let's go ahead and get this thing soldered on now. And when you pretty much think you got it lined up, there's my first solder blob, and then I put another one down here. Okay, and everything else is pretty much lined up at this point. So we are going to go ahead and start laying all the rest of the solder down. Alright guys, so it looks like I have it on here, so it looks like we are good to go. So now it's just the next part of the mod here. We got to go ahead and remove a resistor up here. So let me go ahead and get that done here. The resistor we got to move is actually right over here underneath this oscillator here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in again. go ahead and get that resistor removed. And it's this one right there, guys, that little tiny guy right there. We got to go ahead and jump a wire from here over to the APL right here, or APLL. So it looks like we got that all set up. We got the wire all ran across and everything the way it's supposed to be. So looks like we're good to go there. Everything is connected. I just don't like this solder joint too much right here, but that's gonna have to work. I'm gonna just go ahead and clean up the flux here and we'll pretty much be done. Alright, so everything's all nice and clean, everything's nice and solid. I think we are good to go, guys. So let's go ahead and get everything put back into the PlayStation here. Another step you got to take here is actually doing a little mod to the case. So you want to take this bottom RF shield off, and this peg right here you want to go ahead and cut off. Because the ribbon cable runs through here and has a chance that it might actually break the ribbon cable, and you don't want that to happen. So let me go ahead and cut this off real quick. So I just took a Dremel to it, just cut that little peg off, and we're good to go. So now we can go ahead and really start the install. So we'll put this back in. Obviously you see that's flush, so not going to have any problems there. Now we're going to get on to actually installing the ribbon cable. Now you see it has these blue tabs. So when you install the ribbon cable into this, first you want to pull this piece of plastic out like I just did. And then you want to put it in with the blue tab up. Just like so, and then it's all installed, so we're good to go. So now we basically have to put the motherboard in, but we have to route it, this ribbon cable, through this little slot right here, and you'll see what I'm doing here in just a second. So just through the little slot, just like this, guys. Just feed it through there. And then you just put this back onto the PlayStation. Just like so. But first, we got to put those screws back in over there, but I just wanted to see how everything was going to fit. Pop that back off for a second. Now let's go ahead and put these screws in. Alright guys, so the Xstation itself comes with these little spacers here, as you guys can see. So we're just going to go ahead and pop these in. Now this fits in here kind of like this. So it goes right where the laser unit would go on these pegs here. So we're going to put these spacers in here and here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. It does come with a third one too, guys, so I'm going to put it back here. That way it gives it a little more support back here as well. So I stick it on there. So that's pretty much how it'll go on, just like that. And it's pretty tight. It's not loose, I'll tell you that. So that's kind of nice. So the next thing what we got to do is kind of route this cable up and around, which is kind of a pain actually. I don't know how we're going to manage this, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so just kind of like that, guys. And it is now in there. So we are pretty much done with the mod. We just got to put everything back together as it should go. So we'll put the controller and the memory card ports back in. Put the power cord, or the power supply cord back on. And we don't have the power going for the lens anymore, so we don't have that cable. Nor do we have the lens cable coming out, because that's essentially what this is doing. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get the rest of this put together. We'll get an SD card put in this thing and go ahead and fire it up and see if it actually works. So now we've come to the computer part of this here. So I have a really small 2 GB SD card put into my computer right now, just to basically test this out, because the actual owner of the PlayStation has his own SD card he'll be putting in here. So this is just for testing purposes, really. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to go to this website here, github.com, Xstation releases, and here's where you can actually find the install guides for all of the PlayStations that are supported. So you have the early PU-8, the late PU-8, the PU-18, that's the one we used, and the PU-7. Alright, now if you scroll down a little bit more, you can go to the releases page here. So we're going to go ahead and click on releases and scroll down just a little bit here till we get to the update zip here, and then we're going to go ahead and download this update zip, and then we're going to go ahead and go to downloads and find it in here. Here it is. I've already downloaded it once. And here's the files here, so we're just going to copy those. Okay. And then we're going to go back. We're going to go to that 2 GB drive here. And we are just going to go ahead and format it. Now, in the guide, it says to download some SD card formatter thing. But I don't think you really have to do that. This, just in case you have an SD card that's kind of wanky, this is a good one that I have here. This is a SanDisk, so I don't think we're going to have any problems. So let me go ahead and format it here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and open that up. And then we're going to go ahead and paste those 2 files right here. Now what we're going to do, if we go back to the guide here, does it even say in here? I don't think it says in here. Right here. So you got to extract the update.bin and loader.bin files into your SD card into a folder named this 00Xstation. Okay, so we're going to go back into here. We're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it 00Xstation. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and drop these files into that folder there, just like that. And now what we want to do is install a game, basically. So what I'm going to do is just go to this folder here. We'll go into here with this, because I know I got some PlayStation games in here. And we'll go ahead and pick Gran Turismo here. Then we'll go back into that drive. And then what you want to do is just go ahead and put that onto the root of your drive there. So we're going to go ahead and paste that in, just like that. So now that that's all over, guys, it looks like this is on here. We're good to go. Now if we open this up, you'll see that this is CCD, image files, and sub files. You can put bin and Q files in here as well, and I believe ISOs. But each game has to have each individual folder on the root of the drive here. So I'm going to go ahead and dump one more game on here off camera. Probably do like Driver 2 or something. And then we'll go ahead and head over to the PlayStation, fire it up, and basically see if this whole mod works. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and power this PlayStation up and see if it actually works. Now I have it hooked up to my video capture card, and I am using my test cable, which is not the best cable in the world. It actually has like a loose connection inside of it, so it might not get the best video signal, but let's go ahead and take a look here. So if all goes well, it'll go to the PlayStation screen like this, and then it'll go to the PlayStation screen like it's loading a disc. If it doesn't work, it'll go to the memory card screen. And so it looks like it's working, so we're good to go here. It'll take a minute to load. No games found, even though I have 2 games on here, but that is because this is the first time we've actually loaded this this mod. So we have to go here, refresh game list, and there we go. So I got Gran Turismo and Driver 2 on here. So let's go ahead and try Gran Turismo, see how it loads up. And we'll do the fast load. Now the difference between full load and fast load, guys, is the full load will actually basically reset the system. It'll go back to that original PlayStation logo and all that stuff. If we go fast load, it'll basically pass all that. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Loads up just fine. So it looks like the hack is working, guys. Definitely a really cool hack. You could basically load your entire PlayStation 1 library right on here. So really cool. I really dig this hack, especially with these, almost 30-year-old video game systems, these PlayStations that are dying because of their laser units are dying. And this is a good way to keep these old systems up and running. Now, like I said, sorry about the video quality, guys. It kind of sucks. Let me play around with the cable in the back real quick. Hold on. You guys will see what I mean if I just jiggle it around. Yeah, not the best. As you guys can see, that cable's a little screwy there. So, but anyway, it looks like the game is running. Let me go ahead and hit start here. Seems like load times are pretty fast too. Not bad at all. Single race, normal, Nissan, Skyline. We'll just pick something real quick. Here's the loading. Yeah, I guess it does take a little while to load still, but actually a lot faster than the disc would be. So I can't complain about that. Alrighty guys, so it looks like we're good to go. We are playing on the Xstation right now. We're playing Gran Turismo on the Xstation, so that is totally awesome. I am happy. Well, anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's try to pass this guy here. Woo-wee. And it's hard to play with the digital controller. I don't have the analog sticks on this controller, so using the D-pad to try to play this. But anyway, I wanted to thank all my subs and all my viewers for watching the video. If you guys haven't subscribed and you like the content, go ahead and hit subscribe and click that like button as well. And then hit that notification bell. That way you get notifications every time I drop new content. Oh my goodness, my video cable is really screwing up. Anyway, guys, let me go ahead and let you go. You guys have a great one. Peace out.